Page 116, my favorite slide ever. Christopher, could you read that? Sympathetic nervous system, harmful effects?
Yes, I will. Sympathetic nervous system, harmful effects. The reaction to a shift in equilibrium, it may be beneficial or harmful. It is beneficial if you need to get out of harm's way. A chronically dominant sympathetic nervous system can lead to high blood pressure, indigestion, backache, heart arrhythmia, poor sleep, anxiety, depression, autoimmune disorder, poor immunity, and death. Wow. And death. So final.
Everything leads to death in the end.
Right.
But I just think that's really melodramatic and hilarious. But it's true. The slide is basically just trying to say that, you know, a lot of the things that we suffer from chronically are a result of the fact that our homeostasis, and this is a really interesting term, homeostasis is the level of all the functioning systems in your body that is optimal in order to run you smoothly. If you were like a corporation, it's like, you know, the perfect amount of people in each department, everyone's getting paid the right amount, everyone's happy, everyone's doing their job. This is your homeostasis. This is your point of balance. You know, homeostasis in your apartment is the temperature that you like. I keep pointing to that, but there's no thermos out there. The temperature that you really like to abide in your home. Some people it's 69, some people it's 82, but there's a thermostat level that's appropriate for everybody. When you're in a constant state of fight or flight, the thermostat is being altered. It's increasing or becoming, there's more pressure on the system in order to try and respond to this like perpetual impending danger. And the issue with a consistent fight or flight response is if you don't give your body a chance to recover, you're altering your homeostasis to operate at an unhealthy, unnatural level, but because everything is relative, it feels natural to you. You know, the threshold that most of us operate under is like ridiculous. And we know this to be true because we go on vacation or we just leave New York City and we're like, oh, this is how other people live. So interesting. I went and spent a week in the Catskills and I was like, wow, Mother Nature, you know, no cell phone service. What did I do before I had a cell phone? And the threshold begins to lower and then you can start to really see the effects of how you've been operating without even knowing it. They start to bubble up, you know, like aches and pains that you didn't even know you had because you're operating on such a high threshold. Is this resonating with you guys?
Yeah. Can I speak to that for 1 second?
Absolutely.
I worked in corporate America for 20 years, from when I was 23 until like last year, basically. And I had a very high stress job, working for billionaire people who were insane. And spent my entire adulthood doing that. And when I finally decided I could not do it anymore and left, I slept for like 3 months. And I'm not even kidding. Like, I didn't work. I didn't do anything. I just would nap half the time just to kind of like recover from all of that stress. And it took that long. It took me 3 full months of like just separating myself from everything, not answering the phone, you know, and to actually like recover. And not that I'm close to being recovered on any level really, but to recover enough that I can function, you know, in normal society and not be like shaking all the time. So yeah, what you're saying resonates.
And like let's be real, our version of relaxed is everybody else's like turbocharged. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not relaxed. When you're doing Shavasana and your mind is going a bajillion miles a minute, you're not relaxed. So let's just call a spade on that. And unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, a lot of the way that yoga is communicated to the general population is just perpetuating more of the same. Go faster, jump back, come on. Everybody's doing arm balances, you know you want to, I'm just kidding. But like, you know, saying like harder, faster, stronger. How many cool postures can you do? And you know what I'm saying? Like, we feed this culture of like better, faster, stronger. And we really never give ourselves a chance to rest. This has really debilitating effects on our lives. We're just not cut out for this. Like, you know, it's like trying to operate the new, okay, bear with me, the new operating system on the old iPhone. My iPhone is like now dead halfway through the day because it can't handle buy a new iPhone. Funny how that works. You know what I'm saying? Like, our bodies, it's like the old model with the new software. It's not working. So, we gotta start to teach people that slow is the new fast, and calm is the new stressed. And, do you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to try to retrain the way that we think what is normal. Because what we think is normal is not normal. It's not okay. All right, so how do we do that? Well, there are a few really beautiful, simple ways to elicit a parasympathetic nervous system response. Now, I'm using two very specific words here when speaking about those two responses. Fight or flight is a reaction. It happens instantaneously, like a flip of a switch. And it actually takes you quite a while to kind of come down from that state. Whereas parasympathetic, the rest and digest state, you can't just flip a switch. You can't be like, okay, now I'm gonna relax. You have to like wine and dine it. You have to take it out to a fancy restaurant, you gotta buy a nice bottle of wine, and you gotta hope that it shows up. So it plays a little bit hard to get, okay? So you have to lure the parasympathetic nervous system in order to return to that rested natural state. And here are some of the ways that we can do that. Restorative yoga. Restorative yoga. Who here has practiced restorative yoga? Straighten your arm externally rotated from the shoulder blade. Good. That's internal rotation. All right. By the end of this program, I want every single arm in the air. I want you guys all to do yourselves a favor and get yourself to a restorative class or download a restorative sequence on the internet.
It's so hard to do it.
I'm just about to give you 50 other options, so calm yourself. Don't elicit a fight or flight response. Okay? Don't panic. Can you open? There are books that you can read, like I think Donna Farhi has some great restorative sequences. There are sequences online that you can find. You could even just do Supta Baddha Konasana with an eye pillow and some music and a candle, and then Shavasana. The idea is, in restorative yoga, you're supporting, now this is really interesting, you're supporting the body so much with props that none of the neurons in your muscles are tempted to send a panic distress signal to the brain. Because your muscles are always sort of waiting for you to go too far. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's your MO. I'm going to just stretch to the max, I'm going to take everything to the max, so your muscles are like, we're on to you. And when you're doing stretching and you're doing contraction in yoga class, it takes its toll. It's not necessarily a relaxing experience. But in restorative yoga, you're basically saying to your muscles, like, it's okay. I'm actually not going to stretch you too far. I'm going to caress you and hold you. And that way you don't have to panic. And you can actually relax. So you're releasing a very superficial layer of tension that's sort of always with the muscle fiber. And you're allowing the belly of the muscle to soften and open and release. This creates a lot of relaxation for the body. Okay, so we want to, a lot of students, I don't know, maybe you've heard this, maybe you've even said this in a class, doing a restorative pose, someone will always raise their hand and be like, I don't feel anything. And I'm like, you're not supposed to. Because people are so used to chasing after sensation, like I gotta feel a stretch, I gotta feel something when I do this pose, otherwise I'm not doing it right. And restorative yoga is all about actually not feeling any sensation. Because you will actually open exponentially more in that circumstance than you will when you're trying to like tug at your muscles. Okay? So restorative yoga is a really, really great way to help invite a parasympathetic response. Another really great way is through deep breathing, pranayama. So it doesn't even have to be deep breathing, I take that back. An awareness of the breath, quite simply, and including pranayama techniques like Loma 1, Nadi Shodhana, like I don't know how much you guys have done in your teacher training. You just even inhale, even exhale, or an observation of the space in between the breaths. Like all of those techniques can help give the mind something to focus on, so all this stuff over here, those voices get quieter and quieter.
Do you teach the pranayama in before the restorative poses or after or both? Or it depends?
Well, if